It's a question you hear at every convention, in every forum. Who would win in a fight, Superman or the entire Star Wars galaxy? But let's push aside the big duels, the heat vision versus lightsabers. Because the most interesting answer, the one that really changes things, has absolutely nothing to do with a fight. See, this is the real question. We're not just talking about a new hero or some powerful villain showing up. No. We're talking about something that challenges the very laws of their universe.
So let's just get this out of the way right now. This is not about who throws a better punch. Honestly, that's the easy question. The much more fascinating question is, what happens when you introduce a variable that shouldn't exist? What breaks? What we're really diving into here is a collision of fundamental rules. It's the physics and metaphysics of the DC universe smashing head-on into the spiritual operating system of Star Wars. And the results are, well, they're catastrophic. Okay, so let's set the scene. Superman's arrival isn't just some guy landing on a new planet. It's the inciting incident. It's the moment the entire foundation of the galaxy gets put on trial. So imagine this. It's not a clean, neat hyperspace jump. It's a violent, ugly rip in the fabric of reality. And out of that wound, a single person is tossed out, drifting towards a nearby yellow sun. The system, the galaxy itself, has just encountered an error that it has no idea how to process. And you know the very first thing that feels this error? The Force itself. But its reaction isn't anger or fear. It's just pure, unfiltered confusion. Think about it. All at once, from Yoda meditating in the Jedi Temple to Palpatine scheming in the shadows, every Force-sensitive being in the galaxy just stops. They feel this thing. But it doesn't register on their scale. It's not light, it's not dark, it's not an ally, not an enemy. It's just pressure, a constant, immense weight on reality itself. Now this right here, this is the key to the whole thing. The Jedi, the Sith, they'd assume he must be some incredibly powerful Force user, right? A virgin in the Force. But they're wrong. He doesn't use the Force at all. In fact, the Force has to actively move around him. He's like a giant, unmovable boulder in its cosmic river. There's actually a perfect term for this in science fiction. It's called an outside context problem. Superman isn't just strong, he's a metaphysical impossibility. He's something the Star Wars galaxy has no words for, no history to draw from, and absolutely no defense against. And this impossibility immediately throws the galaxy's two biggest players, the Jedi and the Sith, into a full-blown crisis. But they're two very, very different kinds of crises. For the Jedi, their entire worldview, everything they know to be true, suddenly becomes obsolete. For the Sith, their entire philosophy of power is rendered completely and totally useless. One side can't understand him, and the other side can't control him. I mean, put yourself in the Jedi's shoes. This is a total theological breakdown. First, their knowledge is shattered because the Force is no longer the be-all and end-all of power. Second, their authority as the keepers of that power is gone. And finally, their very purpose is thrown into question when a single man can do more good, more effectively than their entire order. And this chart just lays it out so clearly. Look at this. His source of power? A yellow sun. His motivation? Hope. He operates on a completely different axis from everyone else. He doesn't fit their model, which means their entire model is fundamentally broken. But hey, while the Jedi are having an identity crisis, Palpatine is absolutely terrified. His entire game is built on leverage, right? Finding someone's fear, their ambition, their pride, and twisting it. But what do you do with someone who has no leverage points? You can't bribe him, you can't threaten him, you can't corrupt him. And for a master manipulator, a being you cannot control is the ultimate nightmare. And this brings us to the real impact. See, Superman's greatest effect on the galaxy isn't what he would destroy. It's what he demonstrates. He introduces a completely new definition of what power even is. His first few actions would be, well, they'd be a masterclass in quiet dominance. No yelling, no spectacle. Blaster bolts just stop. Star Destroyers are gently crumpled like soda cans. It's the total lack of rage, the absolute effortless control that's so much more frightening to a tyrant than any army. And you can see how this just cascades, right? His method is devastatingly simple. He just saves people. But that single act creates a domino effect that brings down empires. When fear is no longer a weapon, systems built on fear just fall apart.
What good is a fleet of star destroyers if the people you're trying to scare know that someone can stop them without even trying? And this is it. This is the revolutionary idea he proves just by existing. In a galaxy that's been defined forever by a struggle for domination, Republic versus Separatist, Empire versus Rebellion, he shows up and proves that true strength isn't about ruling people, it's about protecting them.
So this all leads to the final permanent consequence. His presence doesn't just tip the scales of power, it breaks the scales entirely. It creates a brand new paradigm for the entire galaxy.
For thousands of years, the great galactic story has been an internal one, the struggle for balance in the Force, light side, dark side. But Superman makes the conflict external. It stops being about balance and starts being about accountability. For the first time ever, raw power has to answer to something even more powerful than itself.
And that's the bottom line. The fundamental metaphysical operating system of the entire Star Wars galaxy gets demoted. It's not the ultimate power anymore. It's just a power, and it's not even the strongest one.
And why does this huge shift happen? It's for one simple but incredibly profound reason. The one person who was stronger than the entire system, who could sit on any throne he wants, chooses not to. By rejecting ultimate control, he single-handedly breaks the cycle of tyranny that has defined the galaxy since its beginning. Which leaves us with one last massive, galaxy-shattering question. If the Force is no longer the ultimate authority, what happens to a universe whose entire identity, from the Jedi to the Sith, is built around it? What happens to a religion when its god has been dethroned?